Warm greetings from the high 10. It is Everyday Shenanigans on this early Saturday morning. Um, this is a very early live for the Queen. I haven't done a live this early in many months, but I wanted to bring you the said information pertaining to the death of Cash Gernon, a 4-year-old Caucasian boy child out of Dallas, Texas. And I will be bringing you a lengthy article pertaining to the key players in this said information pertaining to this child's death. As many of you know, an African-American male, 18 years of age, Darian Brown, has been accused of burglary and kidnapping affiliated with this 4-year-old Caucasian child, Cash Gernon. Other charges are pending, and those charges will be upgraded after a forensic analysis has been conducted. I will be bringing you information pertaining to Monica Sherrod, the woman who was taking care of Cash and his brother, Carter. The father, who is on the run at this current moment, has not been located. The mother, the biological mother, I will be bringing you information pertaining to her and information out of Miss Sherrod's mouth pertaining to her and contacting her. And I will also give you an update pertaining to Metro Services, the agency where Mr. Brown has been receiving some type of mental care. Hello, Dee. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to start off with Metro Services and their information to what they do and what they offer in the North Texas area. And if you need verification, please log on to Metro Care Services homepage on Facebook. Hello, Debbie Lee. Thank you. Metro Care Services is changing minds. We are North Texas' leading nonprofit dedicated to helping people with mental illness, developmental disabilities, and severe emotional problems like live healthier lives. The primary disorders treated by Metro Care include depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, anxiety, and autism. And this has been said by Miss Mimi Brown, the mother of Darian Brown, that her son receives care through this agency. And I just gave you a synopsis of what they do in this North Texas area. Developmental disabilities, emotional problems, depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, anxiety, and autism. That is the said information pertaining to Metro Services and what they offer in the North Texas area. And as I state, Ms. Brown said this agency is where her son has been going to receive care. When the last time he received care from this agency, I do not know, but this is from the words of his mother. I will be bringing you a lengthy article, so please bear with me. But everything I'm bringing to you is pertaining to Miss Sherrod, the caretaker, the missing father, the mother, GoFundMe pages pertaining to funeral costs, everything that has been put out pertaining to this death of this child, Cash Gernon. Thanks for joining me. We're going to start with, Lord have mercy, so much. Information pertaining to GoFundMe pages that were brought up in lieu of the child's death. And Cash Gernon's family has blasted the dad's girlfriend for trying to gain financially from this child's death. New York Post is the source, updated May 20th of this year. Family of the 4-year-old boy found dead in a Dallas street blasted his biological father's girlfriend, who had been caring for him, claiming she's now trying gain financially from the horrifying ordeal. Patty Seagroves, whose sister is Cash Gernon's mom, Melinda, said they were unaware that the boy and his twin brother had been living with the woman Monica Sherrod when he was snatched in the dead of night from his bedroom, killed and dumped on a Dallas street. The woman has also falsely claimed to be Cash's mother and has tried to gain financially from his death. Seagroves wrote on a GoFundMe page urging others not to donate to pages associated with Sherrod. Seagrove said her sister had been desperately looking for the twins since their father, Trevor Gernon, took them and went out on the run in March. Authorities have also been involved in looking for the father and the boys, she wrote. She said the father ultimately abandoned the boys with Sherrod and didn't tell them about the brothers' whereabouts. My family is in shock and grieving whilst we wait to find out what exactly happened to Cass, Seagrove said. It has been questioned as to why we haven't spoken out publicly, but we have never experienced such loss and do not currently have the words to convey to anyone how we are feeling. Sherrod claimed on Wednesday that she was sleeping with an acquaintance. Sleeping when an acquaintance, 18-year-old Darian Brown, allegedly broke into Dallas' home and kidnapped the boy. Let me say that again because I mispronounced what I was saying. Sherrod claimed on Wednesday, several days ago, that she was sleeping when an acquaintance, 18-year-old Darian Brown, allegedly broke into the Dallas home, kidnapped the boy. He came in and broke the connecting door into the home, where on the other side of the house we didn't hear anything, Sherrod told the Daily Mail. A neighbor on a walk stumbled on the Todd's body in the middle of the street around 6:45 a.m. Saturday. As most of you know, Brown has been arrested on charges of kidnapping and theft in the connection to Cash's death. Okay, I'm trying to bring you everything pertaining to this information. This is Patty Seagrove's comment on the GoFundMe page that she has set up for the child. Now, why the mother didn't set it up, I don't know, but she's allegedly the sister, so we will go with the said information. On Saturday, the 15th of May, my 4-year-old nephew, Cash, was found horrifically murdered and dumped in the middle of the street in Dallas, Texas. My sister, Mindy, and my mother, Connie, had been desperately looking for him and his twin brother since their father took them on the run in March. Authorities have also been involved in looking for the father and the boys. The boys had been abandoned with a woman called Monica Sherrod, who they didn't know by their father, and neither my sister or mother were contacted. The woman also falsely claimed to be Cash's mother and has tried to gain financially from his death. Please do not donate to any other GoFundMe or any associated with Monica Sherrod. My family is in shock, blah, blah, blah. I already read that to you all. I'm going to go down farther. I have set up this fundraiser to help pay for the transportation of Cash's body back to his hometown and subsequent burial. My family wishes we did not have to ask for help, but these are highly unexpected costs which we cannot easily cover, and we want the best for him. Every penny will go towards this and any other costs directly associated with this case. Please keep our family in your prayers and may justice be served. Please note that I am Cash's aunt, not to be confused with a member of the same name. So there are two Patties in this scenario. Patty Seagroves is the biological mother's sister or stepsister, something like that. And then there's another Patty involved with the Sherrod side of the family. If you need verification for the information I just brought you, the New York Post is the source, and it was updated May 20th, 2021. I will now bring you information pertaining to the death of Cash Gernon. Thank you all for joining me. The Sun is the source for this next set of information. Naturally, you know that a killer has been apprehended, or someone has been apprehended in the kidnapping and burglary of that said house where Cash Gernon was kidnapped. The Sun is the source, U.S. Sun. Killer caught, Cash Gernon latest news. Dallas police arrest Darian Brown after he kidnapped and brutally killed the 4-year-old. In this said article, you will hear, how did Cash Gernon die? Who is Darian Brown and what did he do? Who is Cash Gernon's mother? Who is Monica Sherrod? This was uploaded May 22nd, 2021. 4-year-old Cash Gernon was found dead after being abducted from his home on May 16, 2021. The crime was allegedly committed by 18-year-old Darian Brown. And as most of you know, Darian Brown has only been charged with burglary and kidnapping. Charges are pending. The results of a forensic analysis. Brown, 18, is being held on charges of kidnapping and burglary, but police said more charges are likely pending results of a forensic analysis. Authorities have not confirmed Sherrod identified the suspect or Brown's relationship to Cash. I repeat, authorities have not confirmed how Sherrod, Miss Sherrod, the caretaker, identified the suspect or Brown's relationship, the suspect, to Cash. Please keep a note of that because that will be very pivotal because that says a lot. Why they haven't confirmed a relationship between Brown and the mother and how she identified him. Stay woke. According to WFAA, Brown wore ankle monitoring bracelet for a prior charge. Through the hard work of the men and women of the Dallas Police Department, this criminal was brought to justice, and it would not have been possible without the Dallas FBI evidence response team and the public assistance, police said in a statement. The boy had multiple wounds from an edged weapon, according to the Dallas Morning News. We are shocked. We're very angry about what has happened to the small child, Martinez said, describing the boy's death as violent. Naturally, this article is stating how he was found by the woman jogging 6:30 a.m. I'm not going to go into all that because most of you already know that have followed the story. I'm going to jump down to information about Miss Sherrod. Brown allegedly returned to abduct Cash's brother. Monica Sherrod, the woman taking care of Cash and Carter Gernon, said her surveillance video shows Darian Brown returning hours after allegedly abducting Cash. He took him at 4:58 a.m., she continued. That's the time that he took Cash, and he came back for Carter. I can't really watch it. Brown stared at Cash for a minute. Sherrod said as she explained the small details she noticed in her constant viewing of the video. I've watched it over and over again. I can't watch it anymore. Cash's guardian rewatches video of his abduction. Monica Sherrod, 35-year-old girlfriend of Cash Gernon's father, was watching over Cash and his twin brother Carter, said she still rewatches the video of Cash's abduction. I haven't touched a thing, the mom said while mere feet away from Cash's white bed, which along with his brothers was unmade. After watching chilling surveillance videos showing the suspect barge into the boy's room and abduct Cash, Sherrod says she's reliving the trauma. It's breaking my heart, but I know I have to confront this, she told the outlet. He took him at 4:58 a.m., she continued. That's the time that he took Cash, and he came back for Carter. I can't really watch it. Cash's mom did not know he was staying with the dad's girlfriend. According to Meow, Cash's biological mother has been identified as Melinda Seagroves. However, according to the Dallas Morning News, Seagroves and Cash's grandmother, Connie Ward, were not aware her child was staying with their father's girlfriend at the time of his abduction. Seagroves believed Cash and his twin brother were with their dad and did not know they were left with his girlfriend, identified as Monica Sherrod, a police spokesperson said. Cash's grandmother speaks out on Facebook. A woman who says she is Cash Gernon's grandmother spoke out about his death on social media. As many of you know, we lost a beautiful soul this past weekend, to a horrific crime. My grandson Cash was taken from us by a coward animal, Patty Seagrove said in a Facebook post. Seagrove said her stepdaughter's sister, also named Patty, organized a GoFundMe to support funeral costs. Okay, so make sure I get all this correct. I think I misspoke when I said there was a Patty on the side of Miss Monica. So I'm going to reread this. Okay, so the grandmother name is Patty Seagroves. And then here it says, Seagrove said her stepdaughter's sister, also named Patty, organized a GoFundMe. So I'm assuming the biological mother name is Patty. And then the biological mother of the children has a stepdaughter, sister named Patty. She is the one who organized the GoFundMe, if you can follow that. and that is for the funeral cost. All of our hearts are torn to shreds over this loss. Any help you guys can give is deeply appreciated. Please keep our family in your prayers. Cash's biological family slams Monica Sherrod, twin boys caretaker. Melinda Seagroves, Cash's biological mother, has supposedly been searching for Cash and his twin brother prior to the gruesome discovery of Cash's death. Cash's aunt, Patty Seagroves, not to be mistaken for his grandmother, also named Patty, slammed Monica Sherrod as someone trying to gain financially from Cash's death. Sherrod had been caring for the twins since their father, Trevor Gernon, disappeared and left them with her. The boys had been abandoned with a woman called Monica Sherrod, who they didn't know by their father, and neither my sister or mother were contacted. Seagroves wrote on the GoFundMe page. The woman also falsely claimed to be Cash's mother and has tried to gain financially from his death, Patty Seagroves said. Dallas police and Melinda Seagroves had been searching for Cash and his twin brother for an extended amount of time. Cash Gernon's father abandoned the twins with his ex-girlfriend. Cash Gernon and his twin brother were staying with Monica Sherrod, who had dated the boys' father, Trevor Gernon. Mr. Gernon moved into Sherrod's home with his boys in February. He then fled in March when he found out there was a warrant out for his arrest, Sherrod told the Daily Mail. Sherrod says she has not been able to get in touch with Mr. Gernon since he fled, even to tell him that Cash has died. Police said Cash's twin brother, Carter, has returned to his biological mother, Melinda Seagroves. Sherrod said Child Protection Services took custody of two of her biological children, ages 14 and 15, following Cash's death. Monica Sherrod's son went to school with the murder suspect. Monica Sherrod's son, Cameron Morey, 18, said he attended school with the suspect, Darian Brown. Brown, 18, is accused of snatching 4-year-old Cash Gernon from his bed while he slept and killing him. Morey said he has no idea as to the motive for the senseless crime. Random, yes, random out of nowhere for no reason, Morey said. There's not a reason for none of this. It's not from revenge, not from hate, not from none of that. Nothing. To get back at us? Question mark? Nothing. Sherrod previously told the Daily Mail that she asked Brown not to play with her children. She said she found Brown in the house playing with Cash while she had been out running errands. Why couldn't he do it to me? I'd rather me than him, Morey said of the crime. He was the sweetest boy ever. Sherrod's kids mourn Cash Gernon. Monica Sherrod's biological children view the slain Cash Gernon as their sibling, one of the children said recently. Cameron Morey said while Cash wasn't his biological brother, he felt that bond with the boy. That was my brother. I don't care if nobody told me he wasn't, Morey said. He was. Morey said he didn't understand why someone would want to hurt Cash. Honestly, I'm confused, bro, Morey said. Like, why? He's 4, you know? Like, who does this to a 4-year-old kid? Darian Brown's mother says he was framed. According to Heavy, Brown's mother alleged that he was framed and said her son is a patient at Metro Care Services, which provides mental health care to children and adults. It is unclear if Brown was receiving medical treatment prior to getting arrested. Brown's neighbor, Jose Ramirez, told WFAA that the death of Gernon was hard to believe. I don't think Brown was in his right mind, Ramirez said. Residents of the block also said that they would see Brown walking in the neighborhood. Did Darian Brown have a motive? The motive of Gernon's reported abduction by Brown is unclear. He was identified following the release of CCTV footage that shows a man snatching the 4-year-old in the middle of the night. A second clip also shows the man return to the house hours later before leaving empty-handed. Brown's relationship with Cash is unclear, although he did previously visit the home to play with Cash while Sherrod was out. Cash is remembered fondly by Sherrod as a leader and a quick learner. In an interview with the Daily Mail, Monica Sherrod, who acted as Cash Gernon's guardian before his death, remembered the boy as a quick learner. Cash was eager to learn, Sherrod said. We would do this schooling thing every day, and he would say, "Okay, Mom, I'm ready for school." Sherrod said when Cash and his twin brother Carter came to live with her, they didn't know the alphabet or colors. Cash wanted to know how to read so bad, she said. He would always say, "What's that say? And what's that say?" He loved books, and he wanted me to read the same book over again. Sherrod said she homeschooled the boys. Cash was more outspoken than Carter. Cash was the leader, she said. He was the one that showed Carter how to do everything. Cash was the one that was brave enough to follow through with everything. Monica Sherrod shares frightening moment she realized Cash was missing. The day that he was missing, I got up late and thought it was weird, Sherrod told the Daily Mail. I was like, it's 10 o'clock already, you guys, so I figured Cash was still in bed. Sherrod said Cash's twin brother Carter told her that Cash went outside when she asked where he was. I started screaming, Cash, if you're hiding from mommy, it's not funny anymore, she recalled. When he didn't answer, she called 911. Shortly after, when she found out the body of a young boy had been found nearby, Sherrod refused to believe it was Cash. I was crying and confused and in a million pieces and praying they would still find Cash and that little boy wasn't Cash, Sherrod said. I kept telling my daughter, that's not Cash. And she said, Mommy, it has to be. Did Darian Brown have history? Cash Gernon. Monica Sherrod claimed that Darian Brown visited the house 2 days earlier while she was out. It was revealed on Wednesday that Brown had visited the family home, while Sherrod was out grocery shopping 2 days prior. She said she had left the twin boys in the care of her older children, who are aged 14 to 18. Please keep note of that. She returned to her home in Mountain Creek, Dallas, and found Brown spending time with Cash. The unannounced visit and playtime with her young son irritated Sherrod. I told him, don't come back around my kids. I don't want you, she told the Daily Mail. Where was Cash's body found? Cash Gernon's body was found by a jogger at 6:40 a.m. on Saturday. The woman said she initially thought it was a dead dog. Police said Cash's body was dumped to the southwest Dallas Street before arrested Brown in connection with the Tots murder. Cash suffered multiple wounds as a result of an edged weapon, authorities said. And in this article at the time, they're stating he was charged with kidnapping and theft and held on a $750,000 bond. But we do know that it is spoken $1.5 million is the bail. How did Darian Brown get into the house to abduct Cash Gernon? Monica Sherrod said Brown, a family acquaintance, was seen on surveillance video breaking into a rear door to enter her home in the early morning hours. The kidnapper broke in through that door right there. The garage doesn't latch, Sherrod said. He came in and broke the connecting door into the home. We're on the other side of the house. We didn't hear anything, she continued. We were all sleeping. Darian Brown's mother said he was home all weekend. A woman at Darian Brown's address, who identified herself as Mimi Brown, Darian Brown's mother, told the Dallas Morning News her son was home all weekend and could not have kidnapped the boy. That's not right at all, Mimi said. I know my son is traumatized. I know he's scared because I'm scared. Mimi said her son is a patient of Metro Care Services, which provides mental health care to children and adults. She said he has several young cousins that he helps take care of and wouldn't have hurt Cash. How many arrests were made? Police have arrested one adult male in connection with the boy's death. The suspect has been identified in reports as Darian Brown, 18, and has been charged with kidnapping and theft, but police say more charges are likely pending results from a forensic analysis. According to WFAA, Brown wore an ankle monitoring bracelet for a prior charge. Who identified Darian Brown as the killer? According to an affidavit obtained by the Morning News, Monica Sherrod watched surveillance cam footage of the abduction of Cash Gernon with cops and identified Brown. In the night vision surveillance footage, Brown can allegedly be seen walking into the boy's bedroom wearing a small backpack, a hoodie, sneakers, sweatpants, before leering over both boys. Brown stands motionless over Cash before picking him up quickly and bolts out of the bedroom while holding the boy in his arms. Cash was found roughly 1 hour and 45 minutes later, stabbed to death in a pool of blood on a nearby street. How old is Darian Brown? Darian Brown, the alleged killer of 4-year-old Cash Gernon, is 18 years old. The 4-year-old was found stabbed to death and dumped in the street by a jogger on a residential street early Saturday morning in the Mountain Creek area of Dallas, Texas. Brown is being held on charges of kidnapping and burglary, but police said more charges are likely pending. Results from a forensic analysis. I'm going to read that again. Was found stabbed to death and dumped on the street. I think they misspoke by saying he was dumped by a jogger. He was found by a jogger. Cash's twin taken from home after murder. According to reports, Cash's twin brother, who was not named, but we do know his name is Carter now, was taken from Sherrod's home by state authorities. Dallas police said the boy was now with his biological mother, Melinda. He is now with his biological mother, Melinda Seagroves, and grandmother, Connie Ward, who had been searching for the boys for some time. Seagroves has believed they were with their father and had no idea he had left them with Sherrod. What did the surveillance footage reveal? Footage pulled from surveillance cameras installed in the 6-bedroom Florina Parkway home shows the boy being snatched from his bed early Saturday morning by a man donning hooded attire and a backpack. The same man is then seen returning to the boy's bedroom, allegedly attempting to take his twin brother Carter. He had been missing for 2 hours until the ex-girlfriend of Cash's biological father, Monica Sherrod, called the police. Darian Brown visited Cash's home before murder. Darren Brown, the alleged murderer of 4-year-old Cash Gernon, visited his home and was told to leave when he creeped out the kids before he returned to allegedly kill the Texas boy. It was revealed on Wednesday that Brown had visited the family home while Sherrod was out grocery shopping 2 days prior. She returned to her home in Mountain Creek, Dallas, and found Brown spending time with Cash. The unannounced visit and playtime with her young son irritated Sherrod. The alleged kidnapping killer was an acquaintance to one of her sons. Then he goes on to tell you, asked about where Cash was found, and it's just repeating the same thing that a jogger found him on May 15th in the Mountain Creek area. And the officers responded, 911 call about 7 a.m. on May 15th. According to Albert Martinez, the police spokesperson, he is allegedly, well, not allegedly, but the child had multiple wounds from an edged weapon. According to the Dallas Morning News, Antoinette Square 39 told the Morning News she was jogging about 6:30 when she saw something that she thought possibly was a dog in the road. When she got closer, she saw it was a boy's arms and legs. What did Cash's biological mother say? Cash's biological mother believed that the little boy and his twin brother Carter were with their dad and did not know that they were left with Sherrod. A police spokesperson said the birth mom and grandmother were looking for the pair, and both women since been reunited with Cash's brother, which is Carter. Monica Sherrod, the ex-girlfriend of Cash's dad, called cops shortly before 11 a.m. to report Cash is missing, but his body had been found hours before. She added that there is surveillance footage of the incident, which has not yet been released by police. According to an affidavit obtained by the Morning News, Sherrod watched the video with cops and identified the suspect. What is Darian Brown charged with? He's been held on charges of kidnapping and burglary. Police say more charges are likely pending results forensic analysis. Authorities have not confirmed how Sherrod identified the suspect or Brown's relationship to Cash. According to WFAA, Brown wore an ankle monitoring bracelet for a prior charge. That was a very lengthy article by the U.S. Sun if you need verification of the said information. My last source is by Mia.com. Sorry, so much information, but I wanted to bring you information that I had not discovered in my past upload the other day. Mia is the next source, and then I will give you my commentary after this information. Thanks for joining me. Where is Trevor Gernon? Cash Gernon's father was a good dad, fled home after getting into legal troubles. This was uploaded May 20th, 2021. Monica Sherrod revealed that Cash and Carter were the sons of her ex-boyfriend, Trevor Gernon, 31, who moved into her house in February. The story of how Cash Gernon, a 4-year-old toddler from Texas, was kidnapped from his home on Saturday, May 15th, and later found dead on the street has gripped the nation. Demand to know where the kid's parents were and how could they let such a thing happen. It was later discovered that the deceased toddler used to live with the former girlfriend of his father, Trevor Gernon. Dallas police wrote in a news release following the kidnapping. The suspect has been identified as 18-year-old Darren Brown. He's charged with kidnapping and burglary. Dallas investigators anticipate additional charges pending results from a forensic analysis. Surveillance videos that the outlet reported show Brown taking the boy from his crib and hours later returning to abduct Cash's twin, Carter, but leaving without taking the boy. Cash's father was named for the first time by Daily Mail, who talked to Monica Sherrod, Trevor's ex-girlfriend, following the harrowing incident. While giving the outlet a tour of the house where the kidnapping took place, she revealed that Cash and Carter were the sons of her ex-boyfriend, Trevor, 31, who moved into her house in February. Trevor is a construction worker. The former couple had known each other for 2 years and met in their home city of Houston. The twins stayed temporarily with her before moving in full-time on Valentine's Day, February 14th, the same day that Trevor moved in with Sherrod. Let me repeat that. The couple has known each other for 2 years and met in their home city of Houston, Texas. The twins stayed temporarily with her before moving in full-time on Valentine's Day. Very interesting. That is the same day, February 14th, that Trevor moved in with Miss Sherrod. In March, Trevor, who had custody of the kids, suddenly fled after getting into legal troubles and has not been heard from since. Sherrod said that she had been raising them as her own ever since. Apart from the twins, she also had 2 boys and a daughter of her own. And I don't understand that comment because allegedly she had 4 kids, they said. Very interesting. I love those boys. They were not even my biological boys. I brought them into my home. I had made room for them. Sherrod said, after Cash's death, Carter was reportedly reunited with his biological mother, Melinda Seagroves, who had been searching for her sons for an extended amount of time. As for the twins' father, Sherrod said that she had no idea where he was at present, but called her ex a good father. Trevor is actually a very good dad. This is a mishap for him. I don't understand what's going on in his life right now, she said. She also, however, slammed him as a coward who fled his family. He is a coward. His son passed away, and he is letting us deal with all of this as if it's our fault. I don't know where Trevor is. I have tried reaching out, but I'm getting no response. He left because he had a warrant. He got busted with pills that he said were his before we got together. He was supposed to turn himself in to go to rehab, and he was scared because they told him he had to go to jail until a bed opens up. And that's all he could hear, jail. And I told him, it's okay. But he got spooked and left. Verification for this story is MEAWW. My commentary pertaining to what I just read to you, Lord have mercy, 32 minutes of reading. Thank you all for joining me. I did not mean to ignore you, but I had to get that information out. Darian Brown has been charged with kidnapping and burglary, pending the results of forensic analysis. We have to ask ourselves, why is that? Why did authorities say they have not identified the relationship between Miss Sherrod and Mr. Brown, and what Mr. Brown's relationship is to Cash? That seems very strange to me. What is really going on between all these said parties in this house? Why did the police make that statement that the suspect has not been identified as far as a relationship to Miss Sherrod or Cash? What exactly is the reason Brown was wearing the ankle monitor previously? Some of you say that they say he didn't have on a bracelet, but this article says he did. Why didn't it beep when he left out? If indeed he left out that night, why didn't the monitor go off to alert that he had left his curfew? Multiple wounds was inflicted upon the child. What was the weapon used? Sherrod says she has rewatched the video, continues to rewatch it. Why? One statement, you saying you couldn't watch it, didn't want to talk about it no more. When the Daily Mail reporter came to your home to interview you, I played you all that audio the other night. Now you're saying you are constantly rewatching the video. Why would you want to rewatch it if you were so traumatized the other day when the reporter came to interview you in your home? And if you need verification for that information, Please log on to the Daily Mail. Melinda Seagroves. This is the biological mother of the boys, Carter and the deceased Cash. Connie Ward is Melinda's mother. Why no contact with these said people? What is the real situation with the baby mother, Melinda Seagroves? Is she actually not a legal custodian of the children? And is Mr. Trevor the legal custodian? What is the 411 between those parties? When was the last time she has seen her children? Because I believe I just brought you information saying there was a previous Christmas when they tried to contact her. I'll go back in to see if I've read everything properly. We need a timeline on the hunt of the mother hunting her children down. Because as I state, when was the last time Melinda Seagroves saw her boys? Who is the legal custodian? Is it Trevor? How long has Trevor had the legal custody of the boys? A timeline needs to be established. Now there's information about Melinda's stepdaughter, Patty, Sister Patty, the one organizing the GoFundMe. Why is the mother not organizing the GoFundMe for her children? I find that interesting. Okay. Why would Miss Sherrod's mom be trying to set up a GoFundMe page? Why did you do that? You knew that was not your son. You knew your daughter, Miss Monica, was not his biological mother, and yet you would set up a GoFundMe page. That was a foul thing to do. Very foul rank. Who is Trevor Gernon? It is stated in this last article I brought to you that he went on a run because he would have to stay in a jail before getting a bed at a rehab. But the thing that doesn't make sense about that is that Ms. Sherrod is saying he had possession of someone else's pills. So if you had someone else's pills, then why would you need to go to a rehab center? You would blatantly just tell the judge, they weren't mine. They were not mine, Your Honor. You wouldn't need to go into rehab. And we know that most people only go to rehab to avoid a jail sentence. But obviously he couldn't wait for a bed, so he's on the run, which is stupid. And then it states in the said article that I just brought to you, he caught this charge before he moved in with Miss Sherrod. So that means he was pilfering drugs in the vicinity of drugs while raising these children. So obviously he wasn't a fit parent if he was engaging in narcotics, opiates, whichever word you like to use. Indeed, what is the said charge? And I thought it had to be severe. But to me, if it's a small amount of pills, why would you be willing to go on a run and leave your children with a woman that you've only dated a short while, be it a year or two? Still, they have a biological mother. So that's why I'd like to know, what is the real relationship between Mr. Trevor and the biological mother, Melinda and the boys? We now see the state has placed her child in her custody and with her mother, Miss Connie Ward. It states that Miss Sherrod had both of her children removed out of her custody after the death of Cash, a 14-year-old and a 15-year-old. Why would the state remove two of Miss Sherrod's children? I'll wait. Miss Sherrod, we've learned from Cal City that the only reason the state would possibly remove children is if they suspected foul play in the death of a said child. Now, if you are to be the one who told on Mr. Brown as the suspect in kidnapping the baby, why would the state remove your two children? I'll wait. And it also stated she had 4 in a previous article, but then in the article before this last one, it states she has 3 children. Which is it, 3 or 4? Sherrod told Brown she didn't want him playing with her children when she came back from the store 2 days before the child's disappearance and death. She had been out running errands, or she went to the grocery store, whichever. What I'd like to know is, how many times has Brown been in that house? Who invited Brown to the house? Who let Brown in the house that day? Did he come back for revenge because of what Miss Sherrod said to him? Did he get his feelings hurt? Was he angry with her because he wanted to play with the children? One of you in the chat had said that the other night. Perhaps his mental capability is that of a child, and he went to that house to play with the children because he has the mindset of a 4-year-old. Could be. Could be. But what I'd like to know is who in the hell let him in? Because it stated in another article that I brought you that he was there with her children. So how is it all of a sudden her children got offended by whatever Mr. Brown was doing and saying? Did they get offended before she came home or when she opened the door and came home? And if they were offended by his behavior, why did they wait? Why didn't they tell him to leave before Mommy Dearest came home? Which is it? Before or after Miss Sherrod showed up? That the children were offended by whatever he did, which led her to be offended. What was exactly said to Miss Sherrod by the kids of what Mr. Brown was allegedly doing? And why would you let him be alone with the kids? Was he alone with the kids in the house, Mr. Cash and Carter? Because what we have to ask ourselves, if I invited you over and I see you tending to want to play more with a 4-year-old, I would check you and tell you, hey, I think it's time for you to go. So how long was he there at the house? Who was he actually with at the house? What was he actually doing that everyone became so disgusted with? And as I stated in an earlier statement, Ms. Sherrod said Brown was with her daughters and sons. So which daughter and son was it? Who let him in? How did he get in? Did he double back because, as I state, he was offended? It is said by Miss Mimi Brown, the mother of Darren Brown, he has been going to Metro Care Services, and as I stated, for what? They treat autism, schizophrenia, bipolar, anxiety, mental disabilities, different mental disorders. Which one was Brown being serviced for? How long was he a client patient of Metro Care Services serving the northern Texas area? And the kids don't know very much about what exactly. Very interesting. What is it the kids don't know about pertaining to Mr. Brown? Did Carter tell Miss Sherrod the Cash was outside when she woke up that Saturday morning late after 10, wondering where he was? Or is that just her account? Allegedly, Brown visited 2 days earlier where she got offended when she came home. Now they're chiming in saying the kids were also offended. I find that interesting as well. So she left her 2 children, well, not her own, with a 14 and an 18-year-old when Brown came over. Okay, sorry about that. Did a little bit of buffering. So here we go. She now says that the visit was unannounced and she was irritated. Don't come back around my kids. So as I state, where were her two children, the 14 and 18-year-old? Why couldn't they speak for themselves if they saw him acting in an inappropriate manner with Cash or them? How long was he there? How many times has he actually been there? How many times has he been to that house before? Was he alone with Cash when Miss Sherrod walked into the house? Why were the small children living in a bedroom on the other side of the house, which was easy access for a burglar? Why was there no alarm on the house? You've got all these cameras allegedly around the house, but where's the footage to show Mr. Brown breaking into that garage door? We would like to see that said footage. Why were the children not in your room sleeping? One of the commenters said that. They're small. Why not put that small bed in your bedroom? Why not a bedroom next to yours? You're so concerned. You love them so much, so you say, Mr. Rod. Very interesting. No alarm. Find it very strange. Why did he come back into the house? If indeed he is the person on video number 1, backpack, sneakers, sweats, glasses, mask, hoodie, why did he come back hours later in the daylight to that said home, peering over a child, but didn't take the child, touch the child, assault the child, did not take the child, remove the child, Carter? So these articles are stating he came back for child number 2, but yet he did not leave with child number 2. Mimi Brown, the mother of Darian Brown, says he takes care of his other cousins. So what are we to believe? That he is harmless. He wouldn't hurt a fly. Is there allegations of abuse with these other said children, cousins that he has taken care of? What do you mean by taking care of? He babysits, he watches them. What do you mean, Miss Mimi Brown, by that? You're scared, he's scared. I'm sure you are scared. That is your child. You know he is facing probably a terrible sentence if indeed he is being charged with murder. The child was stabbed with some type of weapon. That weapon has not been revealed yet. Don't even know if they will even find the weapon or if they have the weapon. As I told you all in my last live, evidence was taken out of Miss Sherrod's home. What was taken out of her home? The child was found discarded in the street. How did he get there? Who took him there? Is it indeed Mr. Brown? Because one could believe, well, he kidnapped him, he must have murdered him too. But the interesting thing is, so far, he's only been charged with burglary and kidnapping. How did Mr. Brown get that child blocks down the road, discarded in a street, and then go home, change his clothes, and come back to only peer over the second child and not take the second child? Why? And as I state, he was in this home 2 days beforehand while the Miss Sherrod was shopping. She comes home, he's there, and now all of a sudden, everybody's frustrated with Mr. Brown. So you mean to tell me you can't tell someone to get out of your house? Call the police. Why didn't they call the police? Why didn't they run up on him? You're a boy. You can't say anything to another boy. Hey, I don't like what you said. Hey, I don't like how you're acting. Hey, you're not acting appropriate around my sister, me, the 4-year-olds. Because let's be truthful. Someone comes to your home, you're in the same age group, and they peer off down the hallway in another room and stay in a room with a smaller child. I think you have enough sense to tell that person, hey, you need to come out of this room. What's up? I think that would spook the person to come out of that room, not to go back in that room. And sure as hell not to double back at 4 o'clock in the morning to kidnap the kid. I don't know. I'm just saying. Metro Services offers mental care to clients in the North Texas region. Schizophrenia, bipolar, anxieties, depression, developmental disabilities, an array of disabilities. Which one was Mr. Brown being treated for? And when was the last time Metro Services treated Mr. Brown? And what are his current issues? And also, they treat autism as well. That is my sad information this early morning in the high 10. This is a very baffling story pertaining to an African-American young man being accused of kidnapping and burglary of the said home. We now get information that he was in that said home 2 days beforehand. It is now being said by Ms. Sherrod that she asked him to leave, don't come back. And then 2 days later, he makes his way into her home by force, breaking in through a garage, kidnapping a child, and then that child is later found down the road, bludgeoned to death and dead. And then he is seen on a color video re-entering that said house into the same bedroom, peering over the remaining child, Mr. Carter, who he does not touch, kidnap, assault. Why is that? Sadly, I think the dad's girlfriend's on drugs was more to the kids than the bio parents. Maybe. Maybe they were scared off by him. Brown sounds schizophrenic to me. Where's the bloody clothes? Yes, a lot of issues. Yes, a lot of nonsense is what this story is about. Thank you all for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during the live. I'm not going to keep you all much longer, but I thank you all for joining me in this early morning live. I brought you this information because I wanted to get out whatever I could find. And this is a little more than what we had. We now know that the father had called a pill charge. He was afraid of going to jail. He did not want to wait on a bed for the rehab center, so he took off. But to me, that is a blatant coward to leave your children behind with a stranger because you didn't want to face your own repercussions for using dealing pills. So frankly, that tells me you didn't have no business with those kids in the first place. You didn't need to be raising them, and you sure as hell didn't need to have custody of those kids, because look at the fallout. You catch a charge of pills, you go move in with some lady, leave your kids because you feared going to jail, lie and say they weren't your pills, but yet you wouldn't even wait on a damn bed for the rehab. And that makes no sense why you need to go to rehab if you say the pills weren't yours. But as I state, many people take the lesser charge of going to rehab to avoid jail. Ding. Yes. The hustle is great. So they never get help for their actual drug problem, because most people go to rehab without the intention of actually trying to get off drugs. And he strikes me as that person because he foolishly and cowardly left his children behind with this woman. Now his children, one of them is now deceased, and the other one is back with the same mother that didn't have custody. Why is that? So many questions. Why didn't the biological mother have custody of two itty bitty spiders that are 4 years old? That age is very young not to have custody. What did she do to not have custody, lose custody? Did she actually not have custody? We need verification. So why would the state give a kid back? Because that is very rare for a parent to lose custody and get their kid back by the state. And I pray that they get the said money for the funeral arrangements for Little Cash, because it's been a week now. And we know that most people bury the dead within 3 days of death, that they have the finances to bury the decedent. So I'm praying that they get the money up to bury him. I'm hoping that some noble funeral home will help with the cost, because it shouldn't take a lot of money to bury a 4-year-old. Shouldn't need that kind of money anyway. Do the right thing, offer up a coffin for the baby, and let him be put to rest. Some moms aren't physically abusive, but just don't show up. But that is my set information. So many questions pertaining to this story. But what is baffling to me is the fact that Darian has not been charged with murder. That's first and foremost. 2, the fact that the articles are saying why they can't establish a relationship between Darian Brown and Miss Sherrod. What is the point that the authorities are trying to make by that statement? What do you mean you can't establish a relationship? Because allegedly she wasn't supposed to know him, and allegedly her son, Cameron, wasn't supposed to know him. So why is it now the article is saying they can't verify what the relationship is? Well, there shouldn't be a relationship. She's an adult, he's a child. Allegedly, he was in her house visiting her kids. Then it switched to she didn't want him in her house. He was acting weird. Then the next article was, oh, now the kids are saying he was acting weird. So each day is a different version pertaining to Darian Brown in that damn house. And this is when I start getting suspicious, when the versions start changing from day one. Why are the versions changing? Everything being said now, day 2, 3, 1 week later, should have been said day one. Why is there a change? Antisocial psychopath. Maybe that treatment program for odd as a child, which is now manifested into this. Apparently, he has threatened people to kill them. Well, we don't know about what he's done and not done, Moonchild. Yes, if you need information pertaining to this storyline, log on to The Sun, U.S. Sun, New York Post, The Daily Mail, MEAR. Those are the sources I brought from days ago and today's live. Oh, Lordy mercy. Seems like they're all suspect. Rest in peace. Yes, could be. Hello, Wesley. Good morning, sweetheart. Thank you. As I state, this is a baffling case. Once again, another sick tale of a child being murdered in this country. There are too many cases popping up day to day about children going missing and murdered. I do not know what is the problem with these people, but it is showing me and probably many others that people don't need to have children. And as I state, you're not going to know if you can do the job until you get in the job. But my goodness, once you realize that it's not for you, you should hand the baton over to someone who is fit to raise your child, because this isn't the way to go. Abusing your own kids, killing your own kids, and nor is abusing and killing other people's children the way. And if you have some type of homicidal thoughts, tendencies, then you need to seek a mental professional for your thought process so you don't end up in the seat that Darian Brown is in right now. And this is just a sad, very sad situation, because it's hard to believe a young man would do this to the children. But I do find it interesting that someone in the chat had made a comment. I think it was Crazy Lady that said perhaps Darian has the mind of a child, and he identified with Cash and Carter. So he went there to play with them. They said he liked to walk the neighborhoods. So maybe he walked through, saw the kids playing, and wanted to play with them. But the odd part about that story is, if we are to believe that hypothesis, how in the hell did he get in the house with the kids 2 days beforehand? Somebody had to let him in. So what do you want me to believe? Cash or Carter let in an 18-year-old man in their house? So where were the other children? Well, we do know now, allegedly, they had to have been there, because now Ms. Sherrod is saying they felt creeped out by him. So that means you were in there with him. This is a very weird story. Baffling story. I have another story I'm going to bring to you after this live. I said I wasn't going to do any children's stories due to the nature of talking about Cal City the past couple of months and other baffling child stories I've discussed on this channel. But there was a story that crossed my little information desk that was so horrific and baffling that I can't even begin to repeat it. But when I end this live, I will come back on with another live pertaining to a horrific tale. And this is just some very sick people out here. And as I state, they don't have any business raising children, and they don't have any business being around other people's children. And I blame people who allow these creeps to be around their kids, because there comes a point when you know someone is abusing your child. And the next case will be evident that the mother knew the boyfriend was abusing her baby. I want to thank you all for joining me. I'm going to cut this live short. As I state, if you want to donate to the channel, $BigAngie129 Cash App. Also, protect our welcome during the live. God bless all of you. Have a safe weekend. Give me a little time. I will be bringing another horrific story pertaining to child abuse and death. And I want to get this information out as well. It's not a good story. So if you don't have a strong mind, God knows if you have a weak stomach, you will not want to hear the next live. Thank you all. OG, you're welcome, sweetheart. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Thank you.